Hi. There's a lot of suffering, a lot of change happening because of coronavirus. If you want to look at the impact that has on anxiety, I've got another video on managing coronavirus anxiety. But in this video, I want to look at things in a different way. I'm actually taking a Buddhist psychology perspective, but presenting it in plain English, to reframe what's going on as an opportunity. It's a period of real transition, and we're not quite sure what's going to happen at the end of it. But this is an opportunity for us to reinvent our lives and reinvent the world around us in a really positive way. Let's have a look at it now. In Buddhist psychology, periods of significant transformation, like birth and death, are called the bardos. However, the key message that's relevant to us now is that at certain times and in certain conditions, we're in a state of becoming something new. So what we become will depend on what's happened before, combined with what we do now and the environment around us. All the causes and conditions that lead to each moment of existence, also known as karma. So how one thing leads to another and creates the present is influenced in large part by our attitudes and practice. So if you put a pebble into the course of a spring, right at its source, the stream and the resulting river might occupy an entirely different valley. In the same way, our intention each morning reverberates and influences what we do in the day. And this is proven in contemporary neuroscience. We can effectively program our brain about what we notice and how we respond. So, for example, if you're thinking of buying a red Mini, you'll see them wherever they might be that day. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't enter your consciousness. So, of all the tens of thousands of stimuli around us, we only notice a handful. And that's because of our habitual patterns and a brain function in the thalamus that filters out what it considers not important. So, our experience of the world is habituated and preconditioned, but it can be changed. So hold that thought, and we'll come back to it later. Our world is changed by our intention and action. Back to the current reality. So, tens of thousands of people are dying, and many more are sick. People will lose their jobs. Businesses are failing, domestic abuse is rising, and we're not even sure whether there's going to be immunity to COVID-19. So this could change our lives forever. And it's no wonder that mental health is suffering. And I've had personal cries for help from a lot of people. But let's get it in perspective. So far, about 200,000 people have died globally from COVID-19. We don't know what that will climb to, but one model by the metacalculus crowd makes an estimate of around 2.4 million, very much dependent on how things are managed. So just to benchmark that, here are some events in history and current life. So remember that 2.4 million number. So each year, about 1.35 million people die from car accidents. 15 million die from heart disease and stroke. In World War II, there were 20 million military personnel and 40 million civilians who died. And then silly things like in the USA, 951 deaths last year were related to powered lawnmowers. So our anxiety depends on what we worry about and what gets our attention. And it also depends how big our view is. Put it this way, if you put a teaspoon of salt into your coffee, you'll spit it out and scream yuck. But if you put that same measure of salt into the reservoir that provides you drinking water, you won't notice it. There's also an issue here about feeling stuck. And that's essentially a freeze reaction, a rabbit in the headlights. We have to remember that depression in particular can be a stable state. So to pull out of it, we need to act, even when we don't feel like it. Just take action, whatever the resistance. Feel the fear. So we've come to two important points. First, how we see the world depends on what we program ourselves to see. Second, we can put on blinkers, get stuck and over-focus on one thing, or we can open up to a wider view. Both are critical in shaping our mental health. So what will you do about this tomorrow? But just before we answer that, let's make a third point. How we view the world and where we focus depends on where we look and the lens in our eyes or in our specs. If you put on rose-tinted glasses, everything seems warm and fuzzy. But if you look for the negatives, you'll find them. So how we view the world is our own perception. We take a little bit of sensory data, process that with a lot of memory, which by the way is mostly unreliable and distorted by our personal history and culture, then we draw a habitual conclusion and act in a predictable way. So back to the bardo of becoming, or to put it another way, the realization that how we are right now will change. So the question is, what will we become? And the new scenario might be better than the last. And surely we need to learn from where we are, recognize the unsustainability of things, and be part of a new world order. As Professor Harari said, this pandemic is fast forwarding the future. So what future do we want to be part of creating? Now you could say that every moment is a becoming. In his fascinating book, Carlo Rovelli, In the Order of Time, makes the point that our current reality is a culmination of what's happened before within our own limited personal context, and that the past leaves traces of itself in our present, which albeit get increasingly fuzzy. Time, he says, is personal, and there's no fixed present moment, just an ongoing complexity of becomings. We're always able to change. In fact, we can't stay the same. Everything is in a process of becoming. So if we get the opportunity, we can put that pebble in the stream and change our destiny. So what we think, how we communicate, and how we act affects our future and other people's future. We have agency. At the same time, let's look at the principle of letting go. Now, this is a core instruction in meditation practice, to just let go. And we train in letting go of our habituated views, preferences, and our self-identity. We may need to let go of a way of living, a view about us being separate beings, needing to make our way in the world and navigate our challenges, and wanting to stay in control. So what then happens when the unexpected occurs, or when we have no opportunity to control something? We get knocked back, depressed, or feel helpless. We build up our defences even more strongly and get ready to fight or run away. But that state of holding and protecting does not accommodate change. In fact, it's designed to hold change away, like Canute trying to stop the tide. So it's a losing strategy that will inevitably lead to mental suffering or frustration. So in letting go, we learn to be like the willow that bends in the wind. We can only move forwards when we remove the chains that bind us. So this letting go takes courage and confidence, both in meditation and in daily life. It means we need to trust and make ourselves vulnerable in order to learn and grow. Trust in what? Well, trust is earned. When we touch moments of stillness in meditation, or at moments of wonder like seeing a full moon low in the sky. There's a timeless truth and settled feeling in the mind. And as you do more practice, this feeling intensifies to the point where it becomes clear that this state of mind underlies our temporary worries. Ask a meditation master and they can tell you that this clear, open state, imbued with loving kindness, is the underlying truth of our condition as conscious beings. Until that insight appears, you may need to be inspired by these masters and just believe them. So wouldn't it be amazing if we found ourselves in a time and place where many normalities were thrown into the air, where we had no control, yet plenty of time to reflect and many new opportunities to be creative? A time where compassion and collaboration were being nurtured. What if we had the opportunity to make a new start, to become more patient, focused, interested, compassionate and grounded, to explore, experiment, rekindle our core values, and to recreate our lives in a more meaningful form? In fact, rather like now, perhaps. So, to be practical, here are 5 suggestions to unleash the power of intention and letting go and trusting in the unknown. 1. Take 5 minutes for yourself in the morning, say after your shower, and make a positive, loving, realistic commitment. Say it to yourself 3 times, then let it go. Just one suggestion is that you include benefit to others in your intention. So here are some formats you might like to work with for examples. Today, I will take care of or be kind to or show interest in myself and others. Second, today I will be patient and loving or empathetic and take positive action when faced with suffering. Third one, today I'll widen my perspective, explore something new with interest and wonder. Or today I will let go, open up or surrender to the mystery of interbeing and the support of the biosphere. Second tip, sit in meditation, even just for 1 minute, ideally both morning and evening. And just for that minute, relax entirely while staying upright and attentive. As you sit quietly, repeat a simple mantra, and here are some suggestions. Breathing in as you breathe in, letting go as you breathe out. So you just say that to yourself. Breathing in, letting go. Second one, receiving on the energy of the in-breath and giving on the out-breath, a sense of offering. So you just say to yourself, receiving, giving. Third one, Om Ah Hom. And you imagine with each of those in turn a light or a loving energy at your forehead with the Om, throat with the Ah, and Hom at the heart. Third tip, pause. Pause every time you get up, sit down, make a drink, put your hand on the door, etc. Just stop everything for 10 seconds and be aware of your incredible body keeping you alive, breathing for you, and that you're the culmination of 4 billion years of evolution. Fourth idea is to get creative. Do something new. Paint, garden, dance, and do it without a view to its outcome and without judgment. Just allow your body to explore the medium unreservedly. Fifth one is very simple, very powerful. Do something kind for someone else and see how it affects you. So this is a time of change and suffering, and maybe we're going to have to let go of what we were and become something new and trust in the opportunities that are presenting themselves to us. So we need to take action, we need to widen our perspective, we need to do things so that we don't get stuck and open up to the possibilities of this period of transformation. So do stay well, do explore, do take action, and tell me and tell other people how you're doing, what you're doing that's working. Use the comments below. Do subscribe so you don't miss new videos, and have a look at the website where we've got free tools and courses. Thanks.